Today we're going to be working on our space project number 1, perspective drawing, 1-point perspective. Now for this particular project, what you're going to do, you need to find the center to create a horizon line. And the first thing that you're going to do to find that center is you're going to take your ruler from one corner, you're going to place a dot, and the other corner another dot. And you're going to connect those dots the best way that you can to make an X. So right through here, you're going to start off, and I'm going to start off like here, and I'm going to connect it with this. So we're going to make a huge X. We're going to do it to the other side as well. So we're going to cross over. We're going to do the dots, remember? I'm going to put dots here as well. And we're going to connect those, okay? So we're going to cut across here. And we're going to cut across here, okay? Try to get it the best way that you can and as accurate as you can. And in the center here is a dot. We're going to place that dot, and that's going to be the beginning of our horizon line. Now to draw the horizon line, we're going to put the ruler right up to the dot, but the edge of the ruler here can be right up to the edge of the paper. So that's how we know that it's not crooked like this or going up or down or all around. So we want to make sure that it's completely vertical, which is up and down. We're going to draw a horizontal line called the horizon line. And this is the horizon line right here. This is where the land meets the sky, okay? And then once you have that, we're going to begin to start with perspective. We're going to have to first mark out a few things, a few lines here. And the first thing that we're going to start with is we're going to start with the land. And we're going to make a couple extra lines. So this right here is going to be called, even though it's on the horizon line, it's a vanishing point. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to put it at the vanishing point. Everything will be going to the vanishing point. Now I'm going to do a cityscape, and what you're going to do as well. You're going to take that dot, and I'd say about this width, you're going to make a sidewalk that goes to the vanishing point. Everything we do to one side, we're going to do to the other side. So I'm going to take my ruler to the dot and go here. And we're going to make a sidewalk. So the first thing you're going to do is the width of the ruler, which would be this width. We're going to match it up with the bottom of the paper. And when we match it up with the bottom of the paper, just so, we're going to draw a line on one side, go over to the other side of the sidewalk and draw another line. So you notice that we have two lines. And that's where we're beginning. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these two lines and we're going to place the ruler and the width of the ruler on the two lines we just created. And then we're going to make two more lines above on the top part of the ruler. We're going to move it up and we're going to continue doing this all the way to the vanishing point till we run out of room. You see, we've run out of room. So we have our sidewalk. We have a sidewalk on this side and a sidewalk on this side. Now we're going to take our vanishing point. We're going to match up the bottom of the ruler with the bottom of the paper so we don't have it crooked going one way or another. We match up the edge of that paper and we draw little dash lines. Lines with spaces in between. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that'll show you the center of the street. So now we're going to begin drawing buildings on one side. And this is how you'll begin drawing building on one side. Take your paper. Okay, we're going to do the first building. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is you want to make sure that your ruler is always matching up flush with the bottom of the paper. Okay? And we're going to start at the sidewalk. You don't want to start at the bottom, but you want to start at the sidewalk here that we made. And we're going to go all the way up, and we're going to stop there to this line. Now this is a diagonal line going to the corner. We don't need that. We don't need this line. So what we're going to do is we're going to match up again with the edge of the paper, the ruler, and to the corner right here where these two lines intersect and where they meet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, we're going to draw a line from the dot to the edge of the paper so that we have the side of a building. This line can be erased with an eraser because you're supposed to be using a pencil. This line can now be erased. We no longer need the horizon line inside the building. Now we're going to take and we're going to make the building. This is the side of the building, and this is the narrow side looking down, as if you're looking down the street. So you can make a skinny building like this. You can make a wide building like this. Okay? I'm going to make my building about this width. That means I'm going to make sure my ruler is straight here to make sure that we get that straight line in there. And we're going to draw all the way down to the sidewalk. You don't want to draw all the way down here. You'll ruin your street and you'll ruin your sidewalk. So now that I've drawn the line going this way, I no longer need this line, and you can erase it. The X's that I have here means that you'll be erasing those lines. Now we're going to begin to make windows for this building. Okay? Windows on this side are going to be easier. Okay? So I'm going to show you a little bit on how to first start your windows. Windows on here are going to be in perspective. The windows you see head on are not going to have the same perspective. We'll start with this line first. As we come down, notice I place the ruler edge on the vanishing point. And I am going to draw. I'm going to come down a little farther, down this way, and I'm going to draw a line. Okay? Then I'm going to keep my vanishing point and the ruler together, and I'm going to move it down. Say I want my windows to be this large. And I'm going to draw another line. Notice I have a space here, and a space here, and a space here. That's going to connect our windows. But instead, I'm going to move the ruler down. Notice I still have it on the 10 and on the ruler and on the vanishing point, because I'm going to do another set of windows. So I keep it on the vanishing point, and I'm going to draw the top of the window here, and I'm going to do the bottom of the window right here. Okay? I left a space on both. Then I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to put the ruler up against the paper here so it's nice and straight, just like we've been doing. And I'm going to draw my line for the first window on the top, second window on the bottom. You can always kind of match them up like that. Do the same on the other side. Match my ruler flush with the top of the paper, and I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to draw a line here. Okay? So we have two windows in perspective. If I decide to do the windows here down below, the perspective is going to change. And that perspective is going to change because we will have another window here. So I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to keep the ruler on that vanishing point at all times. Move that ruler down and go again. Okay? But let's finish the window. On this side, I'm going to make sure my ruler is flat and to the exact point, so make sure that we get some straight lines. We definitely need straight lines if we're going to work in perspective. So we're going to take this side and we're going to do the same thing. Touch that up there. Okay? Notice that this window kind of goes up and these go down. That's because you're seeing it in 1 point perspective. Now, what I would like you to do is after that, maybe you'd like to do a store. So we're going to do the same thing, but instead of making windows, we're going to make a double door. And that will mean that we're going to use the top of the sidewalk as our ending. So we're going to slide it over, and we're going to come down to make our lines go all the way down to there. And this time, I want there to be a center between the two doors. So I'd say my center should be about there. Put it down here like this, and you're going to draw it down, going like that. Now, perhaps you want to do a little bit perspective by drawing it through where you can see the side over here, where you can do a shadow. You can do that as well. So with this, let's say you want to do your windows. You can go around them to show that there's molding around the windows. Give it a little bit more dimension, okay? So you can see that I'm drawing a little bit more in dimension, and I'm going around. And I'm going to do that for all the windows. Okay? So at this point, it's not absolutely perfect, but that's okay. You can use a ruler to do this if you would prefer. I'm just doing this quickly so that you can see what needs to be done. I'm also doing a double door. I don't know. I'll put some crazy doorknobs on here. Maybe I will also make a custom edge on the front of the door. Any little details that you want to add, perfectly okay. Every detail makes it more meaningful. Okay? All right. Now, on this side, you would probably, if you wanted to do windows on this side, you're going to do the same thing with the ruler. But they're going to be straight. Okay? So even if you did, you went ahead and made them straight. I'm only going to do 2 above here. If you want to do more down below, you certainly can. You can make more windows. You don't have to. And you can continue on. And you can go ahead. Now I'm doing this quickly without a ruler, but I would advise you to use a ruler. I'm going quickly so you can see how it looks. And you can continue on. And I'm not going to continue on right now, but what I am going to do is that I'm going to show you a little bit for the second. We decide in a second building, how do we do that? Well, you see this has the top is flat. Create another top that is flat. What we need to do is maybe we want this building, we can actually make this building higher if we wanted to do it. And we can do that by drawing upward. And we can make this building continue on. Some of you may want to do this, some of you may not want to do this. And that's okay. That means they're just all going to be different. This line would need to be erased. Then we need to draw this, and this would come into perspective for this building. Okay? If you wanted it much larger, remember, your ruler has to match up with the edge of this, on the edge of the paper, going all the way down. Okay? And we've made a much larger building. Oops, I forgot my line here. Let's get it drawn in there. All the way down. This is another building. This building can also go all the way back. Okay? So we can draw that out too as well. And have that with a ruler going even behind this one. Remember, straight lines, measure your ruler with the back. And actually, I'm going to make this mistake into part of the design. Okay? And there could be lots of windows. Okay? And we can do that on that side, if you choose to do that. You don't have to. Remember your perspective. If you do the windows on this side, everything needs to go to the vanishing point. So the same applies here. Everything goes to the vanishing point. These windows can be smaller. Remember, don't forget, measure your ruler up to do that straight line. It may not be what you think. It needs to measure up. Because even as though the eye fools you with perspective, you can also do your little store here with your little, but we want to keep it in perspective. If you want to do your clouds, however you want to do this, it's going to be in perspective. You want to do a sun in the background. Let's say that you want to continue and you want to do a car. And you want to make that car here. And that car is going to go down the street, If you don't want to do a car, you can do something else, a bus, whatever you want to do. So it's whatever you see that you would prefer doing. Okay? cars driving down the street. You can have a parked car. You can go and have parked cars along here. Okay? So that'll help you start. Now, can you do a smaller building down here? Absolutely. Maybe this will be even a shorter building. And that building will go to here. And we continue with that. In this project, you must have at least three buildings. So we need to have at least 3 buildings. We need to have windows. We need to have some detail about the land and the sky. So that includes your sidewalk is one, your car is another. Okay? You might even decide on this side to do a tree, but they need to be in perspective. Maybe you're going to do some detail that allows you to use your perspective to even do a lamppost. Maybe a mailbox. Maybe some other details. Maybe you're courageous enough to do people. If you want to do that, that is totally fine too. Whichever you want to do. But remember, keep it in perspective. And that's a lesson for the perspective today. Let me bring it a little bit closer so that you can kind of see what we've been working on. Okay? And that's what I want you to work on for the space project. Okay? And we're going to color these as well. All right. So now that you kind of have an understanding about what your first project is, I want you to get started on that. All right.